Yes, Browns fans, it's that type of day. It's a Therapy Monday here on the Dawg House. Your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. I'm Andy McNamara, alongside Browns insider Matt Jansen from WKYC Sports in Cleveland. The Undertaker's theme song, I think, was the only real fitting music. We usually have our upbeat, crashing football helmets theme song to come in and jolt the show. But Matt, 31-10, beaten in every single aspect of the football game by a Jets team that was 4-12 last year. And oh yeah, this was supposed to be one of the winnable games on the schedule this season. I am in absolute shock.
Yeah, shock's a good word for it. Didn't expect them to get soundly beaten in all three phases of the game, but that's exactly what happened. This team did not look good at all yesterday, and a little hellfire and brimstone type music coming into a Therapy Monday is probably not the worst choice we could have made. That was a very apropos choice, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so. And hey, you know what? As always, we want to hear from you in the bark-off at the end of the program. Our question is this. What concerned you most in the Cleveland Browns' 31-10 loss to the New York Jets? It is a cornucopia of options. You can hit us up on Twitter at AndyMC81, at Matt Jansen, email the Doghouse Show at gmail.com. And there is some good news that comes out of all of this, Matt. There is some good news because on Friday afternoon, we officially launched the Dawg House app on Android devices. So you can get that. We're very excited about that on the show. And it's all because of you, the listeners, for listening, for commenting, and getting back to us and letting us know what you think. So you can go, if you have an Android device, just go to Google Play, Google Shop, type in the DAWG house and the Dawg House. You can get the free Dawg House app, and you'll get all the shows right here. So pretty exciting. At least that's a positive, right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. A very good positive step for the program, and hopefully people are still, interested in the Browns by week 4, because if the first 3 weeks go how the first game went, could be an interesting year. But no, Browns fans are the most loyal fans in the NFL, and they've stuck by this team for a very long time now. When they haven't been good. So we definitely feel the residual of that, and we appreciate all the support that we've gotten so far for this startup show.
Yeah, and hey, the start to the Browns season could not have gone anywhere. So a hot mess, a dumpster fire, pick whatever term you want. But Matt, here, what's frustrating is it looked like a good start. Josh McCown marching down the field, 70-plus yards, 17 plays. Then all of a sudden, and they showed the replay real close on TV, his eyes got wide. He saw the goal line. He ran. He leapt. He did his John Elway Super Bowl helicopter spin move, and then was concussed and was out of the game. Like, I like the effort. We talked about in the preseason game. I love the heart. I love the message he's trying to send. Follow me, men. I will lead you. The only trouble is you cannot lead when you are concussed and knocked out of the ball game in the first quarter of the season opener.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. Definitely sets you back. All off-season long, he's been the number one quarterback, all training camp and all preseason long. He's been your number one guy, and then to have him go out on the first series and absolutely get destroyed by the goal line, and then be out of the game for the remainder of the game, it was a horrible start. What was a very promising first drive where they went 4 of 4 on their first 4 third downs. And, I love the heart, love the hustle, but like you said, you can't leave from the bench, or in his case, the training table.
Right, and it goes to show why in 12 years in the league, he's only played 60 games and has never played a full 16-game schedule. Like, there's a line between passion. Tom Brady's passionate. However, Tom Brady is not leaping and throwing his body into reckless abandon across the goal line. There is passion and there is smarts, and Josh McCown, unfortunately, doesn't have a whole lot of smarts, it seems like, when he's on the football field. So that happened. You know what? Hey, you lose your starting quarterback. That is tough. However, the bonus is you're against the New York Jets, who the Browns made look like a Super Bowl contender. Ryan Fitzpatrick looked like Dan Marino. He was systematically picking apart this team. And Matt, we'll start with our own Twitter question from today at AndyMC81 at Matt Fleur Jansen. What concerns you most in the loss to the New York Jets? For me, the defense. Zero pass rush, zero pressure. Ryan Fitzpatrick never felt uncomfortable. And the secondary, my goodness, Joe Hayden has been to a Pro Bowl. If that was the first Browns game somebody watched, and you told them, hey, that guy, number 23, is one of the best in the league, they would have laughed at you. He was embarrassed. That whole defense is what concerns me most because, Matt, that's the strength of the team. This is the strength. My God, what are we going to do for 15 more weeks?
Well, here's the thing that I'm most concerned about. The fact that they tell you all offseason long we want to be able to stop the run and run the football. And the two worst things they had in that game yesterday, arguably, in my opinion, were the run defense and the running game. Yeah. Josh McCown was the Browns' leading rusher till midway through the fourth quarter. Oh. And you know who passed him? Johnny Football. So your top two quarterbacks were your leading rushers in that loss. Your other running backs combined for less than 60 yards of total offense on 20 carries.
Wow.
You're not going to win the football or game if you can't run the football. And then conversely, this team gave up over 142 yards of rushing offense on average per game last season. And they talked about how Danny Shelton was going to make this big impact in the middle. And he did. You know, truth be told, Shelton did okay, and the interior defense did okay. But they have zero ability to outside contain, and that cost them 154 rushing yards against Chris Ivory and Bilal Powell. Now, taking nothing away from Ivory and Powell, that isn't exactly a Mack and Biner-esque combination.
No.
So you're in a whole heap of trouble when it comes to the running game on both sides of the ball. I would agree that the defense was absolutely horrible yesterday. I think they spent way too much time on the field in the second half, but they still have to find a way to make plays. And when they did, they still screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Tashawn Gibson had a beautiful interception, and he tries to make an impact play, as he's normally accustomed to doing, and he gets stripped of the football by Brandon Marshall. Joe Hayden, 2 straight Pro Bowl appearances, goes out there, talks all about how he loves guarding bigger receivers, and then he gets beat on a jump ball. So it really was just a day to forget and a tape to burn for the Browns, because this team looked ill-prepared. For the game that you spend 6 months preparing for, they looked ill-prepared. And that's scary, because that was what they looked like after 6 months of preparation. What the heck are they going to look like when they only have 6 days?
Matt, here's what gets me. So as you said, this team was built on, okay, we're going to run the ball, we're going to stop the run. Well, you release it. Say what you want about Terrance West. He was your leading rusher last year. You trade him for a 7th-round pick. Isaiah Crowell rushed for an average. You said the numbers, 20 yards on 12 carries. I just did a quick calculation. That is 1.6 yards per carry. 1.6. Me and you, if you fall forward by accident, you will get 1.6 yards just from sheer height. Now, from what you saw, because I was getting all down on Crowell and Duke Johnson, by the way, I did not see any sort of explosiveness or specialness out of a guy who Coach Pettin and Ray Farmer were deeming to be the savior of this offense. But how much do you put behind the running backs themselves compared to what is supposed to be one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League? Because they looked ridiculously bad to me, creating no room, no push, nothing. Who do you think's more to blame?
Yeah, we need to kill that notion that the Browns have one of the best offensive lines in football, because they don't.
Nope.
They absolutely do not. You want to see a good offensive line clear some holes, look at the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good running offensive line. The Browns, they have an 8-time Pro Bowler at left tackle who is, in my opinion, since I've been covering this team over the last 7 years, has been unimpressive in more games than he's been a standout. You know, I'm not saying that he's a horrible player by any stretch of the imagination. He's been probably the best player they drafted since 1999, and that's pretty short list, mind you. But he gives up a lot of pressure on the outside against a wide 9. He holds. He commits false starts. They had 5 procedure penalties yesterday before they even had the snap. You can't have 5 procedure penalties and expect to win a game.
No.
This is a team that's been together since the late end of July. And you're going to have 5 to 6 procedure penalties before the snap of the football? And then you're going to have a center who, after a fumble recovered in the end zone by the Jets, goes and commits a personal foul. So instead of backing them up at the 20, they're at the 35 with some room to breathe. It's undisciplined, bad football, and they cannot block right now. And there should not be anything good taken from yesterday's performance except for a few spot things here and there. But to hear veterans like a Joe Thomas say, oh, well, we did a lot of good things today.
What?
Really?
Where? Show me, please.
Did I miss that part of the meeting? Like, was I taking a break during that part of the game? Because I didn't see a whole heck of a lot of good. I didn't see anything good, actually, other than one drive that Johnny Manziel led down the field. And, 2 runs that he had that were taken off the board because of penalties on the offensive lineman, and one on a chop block on Isaiah Crowell, on a block that he didn't actually have to throw in the first place.
Jeez.
So it's an embarrassment to think that they had anything good come out of yesterday, because it's really, really hard to sit there and look at that 60 minutes of football and say, hey, they did a lot of good things. They had a sustained drive that ended in a fumble and a concussed quarterback to start the game.
Yeah.
Minus that last play, it was an okay drive. But there's still the ending. So you look at that and you say, it really wasn't that good a drive because you lost Josh McCown and your whole offense went up in smoke because Joe Thomas and Carlos Dansby both admitted that such a play put them behind the 8 ball.
Mm.
I don't want to hear that. If Johnny Manziel is so good of a backup quarterback and you've had 6 months to work with the team, regardless of whether Josh McCown is in there taking snaps or not, this offense should not be that far behind the 8 ball. You should still have an ability to block at the point of attack, to give a pocket for the quarterback, or to clear some holes for the running back. That is just an excuse to me, and this team should be better than that.
Yeah, and with what really concerns me is what stood out. And by the way, you're listening to the Dawg House, your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. I'm Andy McNamara alongside Browns insider from WKYC Sports in Cleveland, Matt Jansen. Send us your thoughts on the loss yesterday to the Jets. What concerns you most? At AndyMC81, at Matt Jansen. Email the Dawg House Show at gmail.com. But here's my problem. So the Browns openly go out and say, when we run the ball, going to defend the run. Ray Farmer, the suspended general manager, hey, you don't need playmakers. He even said to a paper, my God, he even said you don't need a quarterback. So because he said with wide receivers, hey, you know what? They only impact the game maybe 10 times a day, and it's far more important to have guys who are impacting the game on every down. The trouble is, yeah, a wide receiver might not catch the ball 30, 40 times a game, but if you have a playmaker, there's the threat. Are you telling me if Josh Gordon was not out there, that the New York Jets would have stacked the box 9 times, or 8, 9 deep all the time? That if they had somebody that was a legitimate big body, that would not have made a difference? What the New York Jets did was very easy. Very, very elementary. It was, they do not have anybody who can beat us. So just stack the box, take away the run, and we'll put 9 where you have 6 to protect, and that's the ball game. And that's what they did all day long, and that's why the Browns failed. Like, Matt, this is so concerning because they do not have an answer to go against this. Like, you're telling me the Titans, every team in the league is not just going to say, I can put 8, 9 up front and beat you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Where do we go?
Draft talk in October.
No. Are we going to get to October before draft talk? There's still a lot of September.
If they come out and they lay another egg on Sunday against the Titans, no, you won't make it to October.
Oh.
I mean, people are already talking about fail for Cardale and all that good stuff, but and they kind of said half tongue in cheek, 50-50 serious versus